Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday. Maths for today continues with our exploration into patterns and algebra, into our exploration of the order of signs, and especially looking at the effect of brackets. Okay, so we're developing our understanding now. Yesterday was quite a marathon session. Lots of work to do there, and it's time to revise some of those ideas that we had. All right, so first of all, I want you to have a look at the expression there, 16 plus 3 times 11. I want you to use your mental calculations to see if you can come up with the answer to that. Remember, in this expression, there are two different operations. Which one must be done first? So pause the video and solve that for yourself, and then answer the two questions there. All right, do that now. Okay, let's have a look at what you did. So in 16 plus 3 times 11, our order of signs, our conventions tell us that multiplication is done before addition. So 3 times 11 is 33. 16, add 33 is 49. So you needed to do 3 times 11 first. I hope you got those right. Right, let's have a look at the next lot. Now brackets is what we're focusing on here. Brackets in expressions tell us that in some situations, addition and subtraction should be worked on first. So we've got the same numbers involved in this one here, but the brackets tell us that we need to add 16 and 3 first. So can you work out the answer to this one using mental computation? Or you can use your calculator if you need to. Don't forget, yesterday I encouraged you to use a calculator because we're learning the conventions here, and that's what we need to focus on. All right, so pause the video and see if you can answer that one. All right, how'd you go? If we add 16 and 3 first, we get 19, and 19 times 11 is 209. You would have done well if you could do that one mentally. But what we had to do first was the 16 and 3. Why? Because we had brackets. So brackets are used when operations need to be applied in a certain order. Normally, if there weren't brackets, we would have done the multiplication first, but if the situation required us to add first, we would need brackets in this expression. The question here at the bottom says, do we always need to use brackets? And brackets aren't always required. We only use them in expressions where addition or subtraction need to be calculated before the others. All right, we're going to have a look at some scenarios on the next page, and you need to think about whether brackets are required or not. Now there's a clue at the top. To help determine if brackets are required, think about the situation. So you've got to actually read the story and think about what is happening in this situation. And you need to see if a particular operation needs to be worked out before the others. Remember to work left to right and to solve multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So the question posed is, are brackets needed? Now, there's a spelling mistake. It's supposed to say circle the expression that best suits the scenario. Apologies for my typing error. So the scenario here is Cindy had $16 to spend on lunch. She bought a sandwich, a $4 sandwich, and a $2 drink. How much did she have left is the question. Now there are two different expressions, one without brackets and one with brackets. Circle the one that you believe is the right answer. You can do that while you're listening, thinking about the scenario up here. And now pause the video and explain why you chose that answer. And you can go on to the second story as well. So pause at the moment and answer those two. All right, do that now. All right, let's see how you went. You should have circled the first expression for A. 16, take 4, take 2 matches the story. She had $16 to start with. She spent $4 and then spent $2. So there's no need for brackets. The story shows that $4 and $2 are taken from 16. Now, my explanation here is probably a lot more detailed than yours, but it goes on to say if you used brackets, it would change the money amounts and it would go against the events in the story. Because if you did this part first, 4 minus 2 is 2, 16 take 2 would only be 14. And obviously, Cindy spent more money than that. In fact, she spent $6 altogether, and so she'd only have $10 left, not $14. In the second scenario, it talks about a football team having 16 players, but 6 unable to attend. If the coach then split the remaining players into 2 equal groups, how many players were in each team? This one was the first one. It did require the bracket. And the reason is, the brackets allow us to calculate how many players remain after subtracting those who are absent. And then we were able to divide the remaining players into 2 groups. Started with 16, 6 players didn't attend, so 10 obviously did attend, and of those 10, they were put into 2 groups. If it was this one here, division would have had to have been done first. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 16 minus 3 is 13. Clearly there's not going to be 13 children on each team, or players on each team. That would need us to have 26 players, and we only had 16 to start with. Okay, let's go on. We're going to watch a video now about the order of operations. Okay, so it's going to provide us a little bit more information. Let's listen now.
Look at this equation. It has more than one operation. Which operation do you think should be done first? Since there are no brackets, we need to follow some rules for solving an equation with more than one operation. There are 3 basic rules. First, you do operations in brackets. Then, solve any multiplication and division operation, whichever comes first from left to right. And then thirdly, solve the addition and subtraction operation, again from left to right. Now that we know these rules, let's solve the equation. There are no brackets, so we need to do the multiplication operations first. There are 2 in this equation, so we start from the left and then work right. And once again, working from left to right, we add and then subtract. So, 5 multiplied by 12 equals 60. 4 times 5 is 20. Next we add those 2 and we get 80. And then we take away 20. 80 take away 20 is 60. Which answer is correct for this equation? Pause the slideshow while you work it out. Is this what you thought? We need to multiply first. The 6 times 3 is 18. Then we need to add 4. 4 plus 18 is 22. And then we take away the 5. 22 take away 5 equals 17. So the second equation had the correct answer.
Okay, so there's a little bit more information there to revise, to go through what we needed to do. Alright, so we've got some problems to solve now. Now, when we're putting together the expression, we've got to make sure it matches what's going on in the scenario or the story. So Farmer Tom had 4 sheep. Each sheep had 5 babies. All the sheep were placed evenly into 2 pens except for 4 sheep that went to visit a vet. How many sheep in each pen? Now it suggests that you draw a little bit of a picture, and it says in your exercise book, but if you use the back of a piece of paper or just another sheet of paper, that's fine. So draw a little storyboard. You don't have to worry about drawing fancy sheep. You can just put little crosses or something. 2 pens, the number of sheep that you require. Don't forget the 4 that visited the vet. And then, once you've drawn a picture, see if you can write an expression to match that, and insert brackets where you think they're required. Okay, do that now for me. Let's see how you went. So, there are 24 sheep altogether if we use the scenario. 4 sheep, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of those had 5 babies, 1, 2, 3, 4, lots of 5. So that's 4 sets of 6, 24 sheep altogether. All right, the next thing we're told is that all the sheep were evenly placed in pens except for 4. All right, let's take away those 4. So that leaves us with 20 sheep that are placed into 2 pens. 20 shared into 2 pens, of course, is going to be 10 in each. So the expression that matches that, 4 lots of 6, take away 4, and then shared evenly into 2 pens is divided by 2. Now here's an extension on what we've been doing with brackets, because usually with brackets we only have 2 things in there. This one actually has 3 numbers and 2 operations, and it matches the story. So 4 sheep, 5 babies is going to have 4 sets of 6 sheep. Take away the 4 that went to the vet, and of those remaining sheep, it was divided by 2. I'd be happily surprised if you got that expression first time round, but I want you to think about it and why that expression is correct. And if you look at the steps in the pictures there, that shows how it's all come together. But if you did it by yourself first time, good job. I'm impressed. Okay, let's keep going. All right. Choosing the correct order. Circle the correct number sentence for a start in each of these situations. So if you notice, the numbers here are always repeated. Sometimes they're in a different order, but it's the same set of numbers all around. So we have a story, a scenario, and you have to see which number sentence matches it, and then you have to solve it. So the first one's talking about Isabel having had $28 in her saving. She received $45, so keyword there being received, for her birthday. And then she bought 3 magazines for $4 each. One of those scenarios will be the best, or one of those number sentences or expressions will be the best to solve there. All right, Ben sold 27 raffle tickets, Bonnie sold 36, and Zara sold 55. How many more raffle tickets did Ben and Bonnie sell together than Zara? And the third one, Alfie had $75. He and 3 friends, so he and 3 friends, so that's 4 children altogether, evenly shared a prize of $88. How much money does Alfie now have? All right, pause the video and see if you can solve those ones. All right, I hope you read through them again for yourself. All right, so Isabel had $28 in her savings and received 45. So received gives you a clue that it's an addition. So she had those 2 amounts, and then she spent money, 3 lots of 4. That one is your answer. We don't need brackets, even though the story tells us this is what she received first. Brackets aren't needed because even if we do this, the $12 is going to be taken away last. So when you solved that, hopefully you came up with $61. So 4 threes are 12, $12 spent, 28 plus 45, all right. So that's 45, 65, 73. 73 spending $12 leaves us with 61. Let's have a look at the second problem. Again, it's the first one. Ben sold 27. There it is there. Bonnie sold 36. There it is there. Zara sold 55. Now the relationship is how many more did Ben and Bonnie sell together? The together gives us the addition, And how many more than Zara? We're taking away Zara's amount. And so, 8. 27 and 36 is 63. 63 take 55. Your answer was 8. And in the last one, Alfie had $75. He and 3 friends, so the 4 boys altogether, shared a prize of $88. So Alfie had his money to start with, plus he's going to have a share of the prize. 88 divided by 4 is 22, and then that's added to 75, and Alfie's going to end up with $97. All right, hopefully you're developing your understanding and getting these right. We've got 3 more scenarios here, 3 more number stories, and use the space here to write your number sentence and then solve it. So write a number sentence to match each word problem and then solve them. All right, I'll let you pause the video. You need to think very carefully about what the story is telling you. Make sure that any number that appears in the story is placed into your scenario, especially if it is part of the question that's being posed to you. All right, pause the video and work through these. Let's see how you went. So Justine had $135 in her purse. She spent money on jeans, $56. Her dad then gave her more money for lunch, so that added to it. And her lunch cost her $12, so that was what she spent. So she put the change in her purse. How much money did she have in her purse? And there is the number sentence that matches that story to give us an answer of $87. No brackets needed, working from left to right. You would get the right answer if you did bracket things, but the important thing to remember is only put brackets in when they are needed. Don't put brackets in if they're unnecessary. Let's have a look at the second question. Ryan paid $10 for every 500 cans he collected. He collected 27 cans in 1 week and continued to collect that number each week for 12 weeks. How many cans does he still need to earn $10? Now the 10 doesn't appear in here because it's all about the number of cans he's collecting. So, because the question is saying how many does he still need, we know that he needs to reach 500. So that's the number he needs to reach. He's collected 27 cans in 1 week and does so for each of 12 weeks. Not for a further 12 weeks, for each week for 12 weeks. So he collects this number of cans. So if we're calculating this, when we go 27 times 12, off the top of my head, I can't tell you. Let's see, that would have to be about 324, I think, roughly. 500, then take that away, 176. Whoops, and I've given you the next answer too. All right. 3 groups of 24 students. There's that part of the story here. As well as 2 families of 4. 2 families of 4, and along with 16 individuals. So it's in 3 parts to match the story here. A multiplication, 3 groups of 24, as well as 2 lots of 4, as well as another 16. So your answer there was 96. How'd you go? Right, moving on. Power's just gone off. If you notice, the lights went out. Not sure what's happening there. So for this next exercise, you need to, up here, calculate each of those. So it's a practice in using our order of signs. And then here, you need to use your knowledge of the order of signs and circle the operation that needs to be done first. So pause the video and work through this page of exercises. All right, do that now. Let's see how you went. Did you get 10 for this one? let's see. Division, multiplication, addition. Division and multiplication are going to be done ahead of addition, and because they are done first, we need to work left to right. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 times 0, 0. Add 10, 10. 243. 17 times 9. Wow. 19's are 90, 9 7 is 63, 153. Plus 6 lots of 15, which is 90. 153, add 90, 243. So first is this part here, second is this part here. Add the two parts together. The third one here just has a takeaway and an addition. Because they are deemed to be equal in strength, you work from left to right. So from 350 you take 78 and then add 37 back. And you should have come up with 309. The next one has takeaway, division, multiplication. That one will be last because we know that we do multiplication and division before subtraction. And we work left to right with these two. 72 divided by 8 is 9. Once we get the result here, 9 times 3 is 27. So 90, take 27, will give you 63. Hopefully you got all of those right. We still get to practice a bit more over the next couple of days as well. Alright, here using our knowledge of order of operations, you should have circled the multiplication. Here you should have circled division, multiplication. That one there, because it's in brackets. Remember, brackets are done first. So therefore, brackets done first. Alright, fair bit of work again there today. But we're done. Hope you did well. Hope your understanding's improving as well as your confidence. Okay guys, thanks. Catch you tomorrow. Bye now.